started this book. This is one of my favorite book. I've not completed it, but it's still my favorite because it's from the author Jim Rohn, and he is one of my favorite mentor that I watch online. So I bought this book a few years ago, but I have not read. I've not completed reading this book. So this time I'm going to complete reading this book. So yeah, I've already started. It's page number 10. Let's go. Learn from other people's experience. Trust me, if you listen to him, Jim Rohn, you will be a fan of him. I'm so sure about it. Someone who's willing to change and someone who's willing to do something big in life is definitely a fan of Jim Rohn because the way he speak, the way he deliver, the way he talk, all the practical things. It's amazing. Okay, yeah, let's go. Let's not waste more time. Let's go. Okay. Learn from other people's experience with failure. Other people and their personal experiences offer untold opportunities for learning. Through the experience of others, there are two valuable sources of information available. Two attitude of minds, two categories of those which with similar experiences but with remarkable different results. We are exposed on a daily basis to representative of both groups. Each group seeks its own audience and each has an effect on those who choose to listen. Both sources are important. One serves as an example to be followed, the other as an example to be avoided. Okay, as a warning to be studied but not emulated. We should all be students of failure. It is part of the world experience, part of the life experience. Why do we want to study the failures? So so that we can learn what not to do. All experiences can serve as our teachers, provided we learn from the information and invest its value in our own lives. There are those who teach that associations with people who have not done well in their lives and their opportunities should be avoided at all cost for fear that we will learn that their poor habits and a consequence repeat their unfortunate mistakes. However, as someone wisely said, those who do not learn from the mistakes of the past are condemned to repeat them. If we ignore the lessons of the past from whatever the source, then we may become victims of the process of trial and error. By ignoring that lesson, by ignoring that lessons of history, our own trial will inevitably try us and our own errors will ultimately destroy us. It is fortunate, perhaps, that those who fail do not teach their experiences for all to hear. If we had more opportunity to learn from the negative experiences of others, we might well save our own lives from certain disaster. Learn from other people's success. It is worth whatever time we must take and whatever we must invest to make a study of people who do well. Gather the ideas and the information from all the available sources, read the books, attend the seminars, spend time gathering the knowledge that success required. Study the habits, the language, the manner of dress, and the disciplines of those who have studied, who have succeeded. One of the great sources of wisdom from those who have done well can be found in many code books that are available in bookstores. Just by reading the words, what the greatest among us, past and present, have had say, we can come to a better understanding of thoughts that guides the lives of those who were great enough, persuasive enough, influential enough, and successful enough to be quoted. Capitalize on the power of positive influence. Each of us should be in constant search of people we can admire and respect, people whom people after whom we can pattern part of our own behavior. Some of who and what we are at this very moment is a composite of many people who have influenced us over the years. When we were younger, our idols were often storybook character, movie stars, famous musicians. For a while, we talked, dressed, and even tried to talk like our heroes. As we grow older, our own unique personalities begin to develop. Our emulsion of other become less apparent, but the influence was there nonetheless. Regardless of our age or circumstances, we are never beyond the reach of influence. The key is to find unique human beings whose personalities and achievements stimulate, fascinate, and inspire us, and then strive to assimilate their best qualities. Great projects are always built from a pattern of blueprint. In this lifetime, there is no greater project than the deliberate development of our own lives. Therefore, we each need a blueprint, something or someone to look at and pattern ourselves after if we want to make a change and progress. We are all being influenced by someone. Since this influence will determine to some extent the direction of our lives, it is better to deliberately choose the people who will permit to influence us than to allow the power of the wrong influence to wave its effect on us without our knowledge or conscious choice. So हमने 3 चीज़ सीखी है यहाँ से. क्या क्या हेडिंग है देख लो. लर्न फ्रॉम अदर पीपल्स फेलियर्स. तो हमारे आसपास ऐसे बहुत लोग होते हैं जो फेल होते हैं. कोई भी बिजनेस हो गया, कोई भी काम कर रहे हैं तो वो लोग फेल होते हैं उस चीज़ में. तो हमें क्या करना है, देखना है कि वो कैसे फेल हुए. तो क्या होगा उससे, क्या होगा, हमें क्या मिलेगा उससे जब हम देखेंगे दूसरे लोगों का फेलियर्स. तब हमें ये पता चलेगा कि हमें क्या नहीं करना है. ठीक है, तो पहला हो गया क्या, हमें फेलियर से सीखना है. और फेलियर से क्या सीखना है कि उन्होंने ऐसा क्या किया जो हमें नहीं करना है अपने ज़िंदगी में या अपने जर्नी में. कैसे, जैसे कोई, अगर आप कॉम्पिटिटिव एग्ज़ाम का तैयारी कर रहे हो तो पकड़ लो कोई एक ऐसी दीदी है जो 5 साल से तैयारी कर रही है, या कोई भैया है 5 साल से तैयारी कर रहा है लेकिन उसका नहीं हुआ. तो उससे बात करो, बैठो कि ऐसा क्या किया उसने सीखो कि क्या क्या चीज़ें उसने की है जो तुम्हें नहीं करनी है. उसके एक्सपीरियंस से सीखो. ठीक है, पहला हो गया लर्न फ्रॉम अदर पीपल्स एक्सपीरियंसेस विथ फेलियर. ठीक है. सेकंड क्या है, अदर पीपल सक्सेस. जो भी सक्सेसफुल हुए हैं, जैसे अभी सेम एग्जांपल मैं देती हूँ कॉम्पिटिटिव का. तो कोई एक दीदी भैया है जिसने एग्ज़ाम क्रैक कर लिया, तो उससे बात करो, उसके साथ बैठो और वो सब चीज़ें नोट करो जो उस दीदी भैया ने किया है अपने जर्नी में. तो उसके सक्सेस से सीखो, उसने क्या क्या चीज़ें फॉलो करी, क्या नहीं करी, क्या अवॉइड किया, वो सब चीज़ों से सीखो. नेक्स्ट हो गया कैपिटलाइज द पावर ऑफ इन्फ्लुएंस. मतलब क्या, जैसे सॉरी, ऑथर बताते हैं कि अभी हम जो है ना, अभी अभी प्रेजेंट तुम जो हो, कैसे हो, वो ओवर द पीरियड ऑफ टाइम तुम बहुत लोगों से मिले हो, बहुत लोगों ने तुमसे बात किया है, बहुत लोगों ने तुम्हें इंस्पायर किया है. एक टाइम पे जब हम छोटे थे तो हमें किसने इंस्पायर किया है, शायद किसी क्रिकेटर ने, किसी सिंगर ने. तो हमने ट्राई किया है उस जैसा एक्ट करने का, उस जैसा बनने का. तो ऑफ कोर्स किसी ने हमें इन्फ्लुएंस किया है. आज भी लोग हमें इन्फ्लुएंस करते हैं. जैसे मैं अपने बारे में बताती हूँ, मैं जब बीएड कर रही थी, मैं जब एडमिशन ली थी तो एक दीदी थी, मेरे एक सीनियर थी वो, उन्होंने मुझे बहुत ही ज़्यादा इन्फ्लुएंस किया बिकॉज शी इज़ सो डैम गुड. जब मैंने उनके साथ डिबेट में पार्टिसिपेट किया ना, शी वॉज सो डैम गुड मैन. मतलब हम लोग जो भी बोल रहे थे, शी वॉज लाइक सबको काट रही थी पॉइंट को. एंड आई वॉज सो अमेज्ड कि ऐसे जगह पे रह के शी इज़ सो गुड, क्योंकि वो बाहर से पढ़ी है. चंडीगढ़ यूनिवर्सिटी. सो शी इज़ रियली गुड एट एवरीथिंग शी डज. वो गाना गाती है, वो एंकरिंग करती है, तो शी इज़ गुड एट एवरीथिंग शी इज़ डूइंग. तो उन्होंने मुझे काफ़ी इंस्पायर किया, इन्फ्लुएंस किया, ताकि मैं भी बेटर बनूँ. उनके बाद में मैंने जो डिफरेंट प्रोग्राम्स है उन सब में पार्टिसिपेट किया, एंकरिंग भी किया. इट्स ऑल बिकॉज ऑफ हर, बिकॉज शी इंस्पायर्ड मी टू डू दैट. ओके, सो दिस इज द पावर ऑफ पॉजिटिव इन्फ्लुएंस. तो ऑथर क्या बोलते हैं कि हम इन्फ्लुएंस होते हैं लोगों से, कैसे भी कैसे करके हम इन्फ्लुएंस हो जाते हैं, जो हमारी ज़िंदगी में आते हैं, हमारे लाइफ में आते हैं. तो हमें क्या करना है, इस पॉजिटिव, इस जो इन्फ्लुएंस को है, इसको कॉन्शियस करना है कि हाँ, मैं तो इन्फ्लुएंस होती हूँ. तो क्या मैं इस चीज़ को ऐसे नहीं कर सकती कि मैं इसको चूज करूँ कॉन्शियसली कि हाँ, ये बंदा बहुत अच्छा है, तो इसको मैं अपने इन्फ्लुएंस बनाती हूँ, इसके साथ रहती हूँ. मैंने कॉन्शियसली उन्हें चूज किया था, जो दीदी के बारे में मैं बोल रही हूँ. शी इज डैम गुड, सो आई थॉट या वाओ, ये बहुत अच्छी है. क्योंकि मैं आई लाइक अभी तो मैं समझ गई हूँ ना कि मुझे ये ऑलरेडी पता था कि लोग इंस्पायर करते, इन्फ्लुएंस करते, तो मैं अपने आसपास ऐसे लोगों को रखती नहीं हूँ जैसा मुझे नहीं बनना है. ठीक है, तो इसीलिए मैंने उनको रखा अपना आइडियल या इंस्पिरेशन समझ के. तो तुम भी ऐसा करो कि ये इन्फ्लुएंस को अपनी लाइफ में रखो. जो जो देख रहे हो तुम कि बहुत बड़े हैं तुमसे, या बहुत ज़्यादा डेवलप्ड है तुमसे, बहुत कुछ पता है उनको तुमसे भी ज़्यादा, उनको रखो अपने एज ए इंस्पिरेशन. तो वो इन्फ्लुएंस करेंगे तुम्हें पॉजिटिवली. ठीक है, हो गया इतना, हमने 3 पॉइंट समझ लिया. नेक्स्ट, बिकम अ गुड ऑब्जर्वर. नेक्स्ट हेडिंग. Now I'll read it. We must never allow a day to pass without finding the answers to a list of important questions such as what is going on in our industry, what new challenges are currently facing our government, what new challenges are currently facing our government, okay, our community, our neighborhood. Hmm. What are the new breakthroughs, the new opportunities, the new tools and techniques that have recently come to light? Who are the new personalities that are influencing the world and local opinions? Okay, we must become good observer and astute. Astute का word का meaning क्या है, आप लोग को पता है क्या? वेट, मैं लिख लेती हूँ, बाद में वर्ड मीनिंग निकालना है ना. ये मैं करती हूँ, कोई भी बुक पढ़ती हूँ ना, तो मैं लिख लेती हूँ जो वर्ड मुझे नहीं पता होता. तो उससे क्या होता है, आपका वोकेबलरी भी एक्सपैंड होता है. अनदर एडवांटेज ऑफ रीडिंग बुक क्या था? एस्ट्यूट. ठीक है. Okay. We must become a good observer and astute evaluators of all that is going on around us. Hmm? All events affects us, and what affects us leaves an imprint on what we will become one day, and how we will one day live. One of the major reasons why people are not doing well is because they keep trying to get through the day. A more worthy challenge is to try to get from the day. A more worthy challenge is to get from the day. We must become sensitive enough to observe and ponder that what is happening around us. Be alert, be awake. Let life and all of us subtle messages touch us. Often the most extraordinary opportunities are hidden among the seemingly insignificant events of life. If we do not pay attention to these events, we will easily miss the opportunities. Become a good observer. Become a good listener. Special message, and each with its own special appeal. One of the best ways to deal with the important challenges is to develop the skill of selective listening. Selective listening is like turning a radio to find the station that most appeals to us. As we turn the dial, we listen for a second or two, or then either keep searching or stop dialing depending on what we have just heard. Whenever a voice calls our for our attention, we must pause for a while to ponder this message. If the message is shallow or ignorant, we must discipline ourselves to move on. We must touch the scan switch and move on to the next voice so that the ignorant and shallow message does not affect us. Okay. One of the greatest, so that we might add value on. Okay, everything we hear is being recorded in our mental computers and forming a new connection in the brain. We must listen to some voices for a time or out of curiosity, but if the voice is not leading towards the achievement of our goals, then we must exercise great caution in how long we listen. Only when we found the source of valuable information should we allow the message to touch us, or that it might add value to who and what we already are. One of the greatest attributes of leadership is effective communication, and learning what to say comes only when we have learned how to listen. The art of listening is an opportunity to add to our knowledge and to increase our value. The process of speaking, on the other hand, is the act of putting on display all or the little that we have learned. We must first master the art of listening before our spoken words will have any great value to others. Okay, the best way to learn what to say to our children is to listen to them. We should read the books that they are reading and become familiar with the messages they are receiving from a variety of sources. Listening to the information that is reaching our children will not only increase our awareness of their decision making process, but it will also help us to talk more effectively with our children about what is valuable. Read all the books. Next heading, read all the books. All of the books that we will ever need to make us as rich, as healthy, as happy, as powerful, as sophisticated, and as successful as we want to have already been written. People from all walks of life, people with some of the most incredible life experiences, people that have gone from pennies to fortunate and from failures to success, have taken the time to write down their experiences. Do that we might share in their wealth of knowledge. They have offered their wisdom and experience so that we can be inspired by it and instructed by it, and so that we can amend our philosophy by it. Their contribution enables us to reset our sail based on their experiences. They have handed us the gift of their insight so that we can change our plans if need be in order to avoid their errors. We can rearrange our lives based on their wise advice. All of the insight that we might ever need have already been captured by others in book. The important question is this: is in the last 90 days, with this treasure information that could change our lives, our fortunes, our relationships, our health, our children, our careers for the better, how many books have we read? Why do we neglect to read books that can change our lives? Why do we complain but remain the same? Why do so many of us curse the effect but not nourish the cause? Why do we explain the fact that only 3% of our entire national population possesses a library card, a card that would give us access to all the answers of success and happiness we could ever want? Those who wish for the better life cannot permit themselves to miss the books that could have a major impact on how their lives turn out. The book they miss will not help. And the issue is not that books are too expensive. If a person concludes that the price of buying the book is too great, wait until he must pay the price for not buying it. And wait until he receives the bill for continued and prolonged ignorance. There is a very little difference between someone who cannot read and someone who will read. The result of either is ignorance. Those who are serious seekers of personal development must remove the self-imposed limitation that they have placed in their reading skills and their reading habits. There are multitude of classes being taught on how to be a good reader, and there are thousands of books on the shelves of the public library just waiting to be read. Reading is essential for those who seek to rise above the ordinary. We must permit anything to stand between us and the book that could change our lives. A little reading each day will result in a wealth of valuable information in a very short period of time. But if we fail to set aside the time, if we fail to pick up the book, if we fail to exercise the discipline, then ignorance will quickly move in and fill the void. Those who seek a better life must first become a better person. They must continually seek after the self mastery and purpose of developing a balanced philosophy of life, and then live in accordance with the with the dictates of that philosophy. The habit of reading is a major stepping stone in the development of sound philosophical foundation. It is one of the fundamentals required for the attainment of success and happiness. My God. Jim Rohn always give emphasis on reading books, and not just Jim Rohn. कोई भी सक्सेसफुल पीपल को आप पकड़ लो, कोई भी सक्सेसफुल इंसान हो, वो बुक रीडिंग को इम्पोर्टेंस देगा. क्यों इतना इम्पोर्टेंट है बुक रीडिंग? जस्ट थिंक अबाउट इट. हर सक्सेसफुल इंसान क्यों बुक पढ़ता है? कोई भी एक ऐसा सक्सेसफुल इंसान नहीं है जिसने बुक नहीं पढ़ा. तो अगर आपको सक्सेसफुल बनना है, अपनी लाइफ में कुछ बड़ा करना है, कुछ अलग करना है, जो आपके एवरेज सराउंडिंग है उससे कुछ बेटर करना है, देन यू नीड टू रीड बुक. It's a requirement. It's a requirement. If you want to be great, you need to read book. यू कांट कीप रीडिंग बुक. क्यों? देखो ना, हमारे आसपास ऐसे ग्रेट लोग हैं क्या जिनके इन्फ्लुएंस में हम रह सके, जो हमें कुछ ग्रेट या फिर कुछ मतलब लाइफ चेंजिंग थिंग्स सिखाने वाले लोग हैं क्या? अगर है तो ग्रेट, सीखो उनसे. लेकिन नहीं है, मेरे आसपास नहीं है, तो क्या उसके लिए रास्ता क्या है? बुक पढ़ो. उससे क्या होता है, जैसे कम्युनिकेशन एक्सपर्ट कोई है, उसने कोई बुक लिखा है, आप वो पढ़ लो भाई. उसके डायरेक्टली जैसे इंटरव्यू होता है, जैसे लोग इंटरव्यू लेते हैं, जैसे तो उससे सवाल किया जाता है, जैसे उसे हम कॉन्वर्सेशन करते. बुक तो वही है ना, वो आपसे कॉन्वर्सेशन कर रहा है. तो इतना इजी है इतने ग्रेट माइंड्स को रीड करना, जस्ट बाय रीडिंग द बुक्स दे हैव रिटन. एंड वो हमें 300-200 में मिल जाता है. एंड आपको बुक चाहिए तो मीशो से खरीदो, इतना सस्ता है. आजकल तो इतना इजी हो गया है. अगर आप स्टिल बुक नहीं पढ़ रहे हो तो क्या ही बोले. मेरे पास बहुत सारी बुक्स है, आई थिंक अराउंड 15-20 बुक्स जो मैंने नहीं पढ़ी, एंड नाउ आई हैव डिसाइडेड कि मैं सब कंप्लीट करूँगी. सो इस बुक से मैंने शुरुआत किया बिकॉज ये बहुत फेवरेट है बुक मेरा, और 100 पेजेस का है बस, तो जल्दी भी हो जाएगा. वी आर ऑलरेडी इन पेज नंबर 17. ओके, लेट्स मूव इन टू नेक्स्ट. मतलब ऑथर ने इसमें इस बुक वाले जगह में क्या कहा कि बुक पढ़ो. सब सक्सेसफुल लोग बुक पढ़ते हैं. और जब सोचो अपनी लाइफ में किसी ने बहुत ग्रेट कुछ अचीव किया है. आई नीड टू गो. आईराम এখন না পড়ে শেষ হয়েছে না করলে হবে. I'm back. আমি লাগাই দিছি, ওখান খুলতে পারতাম না। ठीक है, तो हम बुक रीडिंग के बारे में बात कर रहे थे कि ऑथर ने कहा कि अगर आप बुक नहीं पढ़ रहे हो तो आप बहुत कुछ मिस आउट कर रहे हो अपनी ज़िंदगी में। सोचो, बहुत सारे सक्सेसफुल लोग जिन्होंने सब कुछ, कैसे हैप्पी रहना है, कैसे सक्सेसफुल होना है, कैसे रिच बनना है, सब लिखा है अपने बुक में। तो आप क्या कर रहे हो, आप उस बुक को उठा नहीं रहे हो। जैसे पकड़ो, मैं कैसे समझाऊं, मतलब इन्फॉर्मेशन दिया हुआ है, आपके पास है सोने की प्लेट में सजा हुआ, लेकिन आप बिकॉज ऑफ लेजीनेस एंड बिकॉज ऑफ इग्नोरेंस की नहीं पढ़ना है, बुक में क्या ही रखा है, ऐसे बोल के आप नहीं पढ़ रहे उस किताब को, तो वो हमारी गलती है ना, हम नहीं पढ़ रहे हैं। जो मैं भी क्यों लेजी हो जाती हूँ, बट ओके, अभी करेंगे। हाँ, मैं बिजी थी थोड़ा, बट अभी ठीक है। सो नेक्स्ट, कीप अ पर्सनल जर्नल. In our continuing search for knowledge and understanding, there is another major discipline that will help us to capture the information around us so that our future will be better than the past. Keep a personal journal. A journal is a gathering place for all the observations and discoveries about life in our own handwriting transcript, narrated in our own words, which capture the experience, ideas, desires, conclusions about the people and events that have touched our lives. A journal provides us with two remarkable benefits. First, it allows us to capture all aspects of the present moment for future view. The events that take place in our lives, experience that we live and learn from, should not just happen. They should be captured so that their lessons can be invested in the future. The past, when properly documented, is one of the best guides for making good decisions today, and that will lead to a better tomorrow. While it is true that every event is recorded in the brain, we cannot always access the specified surrounding those events at will. Often, the details can become blurred or distorted over time. We may remember the outcomes, but we may have forgotten the exact sequence of events or the decisions that were made. Without accurate information to enhance our recall of the past, we run the risk of repeating many of the same errors over and over again. Without a journal, those milestones of emotions and experience will be blown by the winds of own forgetfulness into a deep corner of the mind, when their value will become lost forever. The emotion of the special moment, unless captured in a journal, will soon fade. We may recall the event, but we will have lost the emotion. The second benefit of keeping a journal is that the very act of writing about our lives helps us think more objectively about our actions. Writing tends to slow down the flow of information as we pause to gather our thoughts about an event we are trying to capture on paper. We have time to ponder and to analyze experience. We begin to see more clearly the source of our information, the facts on which we based our decisions, and the action we are taking in response to our beliefs. In other words, it is not just the event but also our personal philosophy that comes under intense scrutiny in the process of capturing our lives on paper. And it is this intense scrutiny that enables us to make refinement to our philosophy that are truly life changing. The discipline of keeping a journal also develops our ability to communicate more effectively. The more we practice capturing events and emotion with words, the more clearly we are able to communicate not only our ideas but also the inherent value that exists within us. It is it is an interesting fact that when President Kennedy was assassinated, the personal journals of some of the country's most influential leaders captured the events of that sad day as Air Force One cut through the sky from Dallas to Washington bearing the body of the slain president. Many sat in silence, recording in their journal their vivid recall of the tragedy. It was one of those rare events when history was recorded as it happened, not merely speculated on by historians in a distant era. That combination of written accounts later served as the basis of William Manchester's The Death of a President, one of the greatest historical documents ever written. Most men and women, if accomplished, maintain and frequently review their personal journals. It is second nature to them. They seem to possess an inherent instinct that tells them to that a life worth living is a life worth documenting. In fact, the process of making a deliberate and consistent habit of writing in journal may well be a major reason for the rise above average levels of achievement. It is small disciplines that lead to great accomplishment. When average people give care and attention to important matters, their growth into greatness merely awaits the passage of time. Both small disciplines and minor mistakes in judgment tend to accumulate, the former of our benefits and later to our detriment. Detriment का मतलब क्या है? Detriment लिख लेती हूँ. Detriment. Neither success not आपको पता है क्या detriment का मतलब? Neither success nor failures occurs in a daily. ये क्या है? Cataclysmic. ये भी लिखना पड़ेगा. Cataclysmic. Neither success nor failures occurs in a single cataclysmic event. Both are the result of accumulation of seemingly small and insignificant decisions whose collective weight over the period of a lifetime present the individual with his or her appropriate reward. The use of neglect of journal is not indispensable to the achievement of success, but the use of journal is an important piece of life puzzle called philosophy. By neglecting the journal, the puzzle can never be truly complete. Surely our lives are worth more than a birth certificate, a gravestone, and $500,000 is in consumed goods and services compressed between those major milestones in our life. Journals are the tools that enable us to document the details of the failure as well as the progress of our existence. Okay. And in the process allows us to become more than we otherwise might have been. We are rapidly becoming a nation of passive intellects. The continued neglect of our reading and our writing skills is leading to increasingly undisciplined thinking habits. If we doubt this, we need only to look at how many of our loved ones are turning to drugs, how many of our citizens are involved in violent or white collar crimes, and how many of our children are dropping out of school. Poor thinking habits, poor values, poor decisions. And if this trend remains unchecked, we could soon decline to the level of third-rate power. We cannot become a strongest nation until our attention to the essential of life begin to change. The ability to establish more competent leadership in our government, our schools, our church, our business, and our communities lies in emerging value of individual. That is why each of us make a commitment to develop a full human potential. Our discipline, full human potential, one discipline at a time, one book at a time, and one small entry in our journal at a time. Only by actively pursuing new knowledge we can sufficiently define our personal philosophy and change not only our lives but also the lives of people around us. So philosophy is over. मेंटेन अ पर्सनल जर्नल. हमारे पास एक डायरी होनी चाहिए जिसमें हम सब रिकॉर्ड करें, हंसी खुशी, जो जो हमारे साथ हो रहा है, जो जो हमारे साथ हुआ है, आज हमारे साथ क्या हुआ, आज हमने क्या सीखा, आज क्या दुख है हमें, आज क्या खुशी है हमें. हर चीज हम जब जर्नल में रिकॉर्ड करेंगे तो वो रिकॉर्डेड रहेगा, डॉक्यूमेंटेड रहेगा तुम्हारा लाइफ. सोचो आज से 10 साल बाद जब तुम खोल के देखोगे, उस मोमेंट पे मैंने ये फील किया था, वो तुम विदाउट जर्नल कभी नहीं कर सकते. क्या तुम्हें याद रहेगा 10 साल पहले उस दिन पे, उस मोमेंट पे तुमने क्या फील किया था? नहीं. तो सोचो अगर सेम फीलिंग्स तुम्हें आए एक पेज पढ़ के, तो कितना प्रीशियस है ना. ये गिफ्ट तुम्हें कोई दे सकता है क्या? कोई नहीं दे सकता. तुम खुद को दे सकते हो. कैसे? जर्नलिंग करके. जर्नल रख के अपने पास एक छोटा सा जर्नल रखो जिसमें सब लिखो, सब. जो हो रहा है, जो हुआ है, जो होगा, सब, है ना? कितनी सुंदर बात कही। इसीलिए जिम रोन इतने फेवरेट है मेरे। उन्हीं से सीखा था मैंने जर्नल एंड ऑल, और बहुत लोगों से भी। जर्नलिंग इज रियली गुड। ओके, सो आज के लिए इतना ही। अगर शाम को हम एक और सेशन कर सकते हैं, अगर मेरे पास इंटरनेट रहा तो। अभी के लिए पेज नंबर 23 में आ गए हैं हम। काफ़ी पढ़ लिया ना। नेक्स्ट पढ़ेंगे, आज क्या है, डेट 29। ठीक है, ओके, बाय। अच्छे से रहो, प्रोडक्टिव रहो, काम करते रहो, ठीक है। दिस इज़ द ओनली गोल कि हम ग्रेटनेस अचीव करें, और जो भी हमारा पोटेंशियल है उसको हम बेस्ट तरीके से यूटिलाइज करें, बेस्ट तरीके से, बेस्ट बुक पढ़ के, लिख के, काम करके, टाइम वेस्ट ना करके, ह्यूमन कनेक्शन अच्छे से बना के, सब कुछ हो। बस अपने लाइफ को बेस्ट तरीके से जियो, पूरे तरीके से नहीं, ठीक है। चलो बाय, मिलते हैं जल्दी।